Imagine being able to get an insane amount of fame with no risk to losing your gear. Sounds impossible if we take HCEs out of the equation, right? Well, there is another activity that has zero risk and makes you even more fame than HCEs. This method is exactly what I'm going to be telling you about in this video. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to let you guys know that we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, I'll be doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, so make sure to keep an eye out for that in future videos. If you haven't guessed it already, soloing Yellow Zone static group dungeons provides insanely good fame and poses no real risk of losing gear. The reason being is that you cannot fully die in a Yellow Zone unless of course you use the command or press the button to die when you are downed on the ground. So, that means you could bring 8.3 masterpiece items into these zones and not have to worry about losing them. That also means that you are able to bring gear into the zones that should be able to absolutely destroy any mob in them. And since we're clearing static group dungeons, it should provide a lot of fame. That is exactly what I tested out. I adjusted the light crossbow speed clearing set that was popular in the past to allow for sustain and also still have a lot of damage. The build is a royal cowl, Hellion jacket, royal sandals, a light crossbow, crypt candle, Carleon cape, healing potions, roast pork, and any strong mount. This might seem like a slightly unusual build for solo clearing statics, and I do not claim that this build is the best for this activity in any way, but it works well for me, so I use it. I also tested out swapping in a Spectre hood with the Hellion jacket instead of having the Royal Cowl, which was incredibly good for larger pulls, and it wasn't bad for mana sustain. The typical pull using this build looks something along the lines of rounding up the mobs while I was on my mount. I would then let the mobs dismount me, or I would dismount by pressing A, use my Royal Cowl, E, 3 Qs, and then continuously keep doing damage until I got around half health. I would then use my Hellion jacket and Royal Sandals, which the healing ability out-healed any extra damage I took while dealing the extra damage from the Royal Sandals. I would repeat this process for each pull. Real quick, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more Albion Online content. I noticed while killing these packs of mobs that I would get anywhere around from 3,000 fame per kill up to 16,000 fame per kill depending on if the mob was buffed and the type of mob. As I always do, I started conducting trials in 15-minute intervals and I would fame farm as efficiently as possible in that time. I then recorded how much fame and silver I made and then I averaged it with all of the other test trials. Here are my results. With two 10% fame buffs, the Faction Warfare fame buff and the Knight's Vow fame buff, I made around 1.55 million fame per hour. This is equivalent to around 1.7 million fame with 3 fame buffs, 1.4 million fame with 1 fame buff, and 1.2 million fame per hour with no fame buff. The fame was incredibly good per hour, but on the other hand, the silver was not. I made around 110,000 silver per hour doing this method. The drops obviously aren't included in that calculation, and they are completely random, so it's really hard to say how much you'll earn from drops by doing this method. Obviously, we're in a tier 5 yellow zone, so the loot isn't going to be as amazing to a tier 7 black zone, say perhaps. Obviously, this fame farming method is perfect for solo players, or if you have some time to kill while waiting for some friends, you could definitely do this activity. This activity has its pros and cons, but every activity has them. The biggest benefits of using this fame farm is that you have no risk of losing gear because obviously you're in the yellow zone, and you have a really good fame per hour rate. If you saw one of my last videos about tier 8 static group dungeons, you would know that this yellow zone fame farm with two 10% fame buffs is equivalent to doing a black zone static group dungeon with a 6-man group and only 1 fame buff equipped. Some of the disadvantages of doing this fame farm is that it's expensive to get started. You need Gucci gear and really good spec to be efficient. Another disadvantage is that a lot of people are doing the yellow zone static, so you're going to have to fight over mobs. Also, you don't really make any good silver from doing this technique unless you get incredibly lucky. I really hope that this video was helpful and it helps you decide if you want to try out doing this activity. I highly recommend it for endgame players, as this isn't something you can really do when you first start playing Albion online. If you guys enjoyed the video, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.